Chuckload of Comics is brought to you by Cold War Games, creators of Squarriors, Fight Your Friends, and Lady Death Last Stand. For more information, visit coldwar.us.
All right, guys, so our first big nerd news story of the week, the Martin Scorsese movie, The Irishman, has finally premiered to critics at the New York Film Festival last weekend, and critics are absolutely raving about this gangster, this reunion of the Goodfellas gang. We're going to read the critics' tweets. They are absolutely loving it. It's currently sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is incredibly exciting. I was a little bit worried about this film, but now we're going to read the tweets for you right now, but people are loving it. The first tweet review comes from Brett Redacted. Brett says, The Irishman, an instant Martin Scorsese crime classic that's everything you want it to be and more. De Niro's best work in ages. Pesci lights up the screen, and Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa screaming about the Kennedys is the peak of cinema. Big praise, both for Scorsese, both for De Niro, both for Al Pacino and Joe Pesci. Shauna,
What?
I know I'm throwing you for a loop here. You're not ready. What do you think about Brett Redacted's tweet there?
I think it's amazing. I'm excited, man. Like Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and Al Pacino. You're bringing them all back together. This is so cool.
I know. I'm very, very
wait.
stoked. Well, let's go ahead and read the next one.
On Netflix, let alone.
I know. Well, the next one comes from Chris Evangelista, who writes, The Irishman is a masterwork. Funny, epic, and most of all, melancholy. It's Scorsese confronting aging, legacies, and morality. I may or may not have teared up at the end. Poor Chris Evangelista teared up at the end of The Irishman. I like that he put the word funny in it. So apparently it's got some comedic tones in it, which is all. I mean, Pesci in a Scorsese film always seems to crack some jokes.
Yeah, he does.
He always kind of seems to be the comic relief of the Scorsese films. The next one comes from Jordan Hoffman. Jordan Hoffman writes, The Irishman is not Goodfellas Casino Part 3. Different pace, different tone. It is, however, absolutely fucking fantastic, and I am floored. All hail the king. Good for you, Jordan Hoffman, for throwing an F word on Twitter. Sometimes you just can't contain yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking amazing as well. He says fucking fantastic.
And he says, all hail the king.
All
Obviously
hail
talking
the
about
king. He's talking about Scorsese, I'm sure. So this last one comes from Kevin L. Lee, who writes, Boy, The Irishman. He starts out with the word boy. Boy, The Irishman is a fitting homecoming for De Niro, Pacino, Pesci, and Scorsese's ode to gangster cinema. Hilarious and sharply written. A portrait of morality and legacy, told like a culmination of everything we have ever seen in this genre. It's long, but never boring. That's really important. He's the first person to mention that it's long. This movie's clocking in at 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
It's 3 hours and 30 minutes. And I think that might be one of the reasons why it didn't get a cinematic release. It's getting a very limited theatrical release. It's hard to sit in a theater for 3.5 hours without an intermission.
No kidding.
So it is getting because it's so great, because they want Oscar contention, it is going to get a very limited theatrical release for like 2 weeks, just so it has Oscar potential. Because, I mean, that's like one of the rules. It has to be in theaters for X amount of weeks. Yeah. And then it's going to drop on Netflix really, really soon. So get excited, man.
I'm excited.
I couldn't be. Andy, I want to talk to you. Was this movie on your radar at all? Like, did you know this movie was coming out? What do you know about it? This is obviously they're bringing the gang back together from Goodfellas. How aware were you this movie that was even there?
To be quite honest, I knew the gang was coming back together. I didn't know if they had a script. I didn't know the concept of the script. And I thought it was just going to be like a Departed 2.
Right, yeah.
You know? But once to be quite honest, I found out it was about Jimmy Hoffa like 2 weeks ago.
Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa.
Which I will say, the only other spectacular Jimmy Hoffa movie was Hoffa, starring the Joker, the 1989
Jack Nicholson.
Joker, Mr. Sir
Jack Nicholson as Jimmy Hoffa.
He
One of
said
the greatest.
Joker. I was thinking Joaquin Phoenix.
Like, wait a
we'll get to
second.
that in just a
We gotta
second.
twist
the
it.
actor, not the golfer. So yeah, I'm so ecstatic about
Yeah, well,
this.
Shauna, I mean, obviously we've all seen the photos. This is the big buzz of this movie is the de-aging technology.
Right?
The fact that they're taking these elderly actors and they're using the very most expensive de-aging technology to bring them right back to the ages they were when they did Goodfellas, and they really knock it out of the park.
Right?
Like, if you see the photos of De Niro, you not only see him young and old, you see De Niro in many stages of his life. You see him in, like, World War II. You see him a little bit older. You see him a little bit older. You see him a little bit older. And I'm hoping that doesn't take me out of the film. Like, I'm hoping they do it just as well as they did with Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel.
That was a good
Right.
one.
Oh,
They've gotten really good at the de-aging technology.
Couldn't agree more.
We've come a long way since Tron Legacy, which was absolutely the worst ever de-aging technology.
there.
Kyra, did you know this movie was happening? I mean, and now that you do know, do these tweets raise your excitement level at all? Are you going to see it in the theater? Are you going to wait till it comes out on Netflix?
I think I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
I think I kind of want to do both. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be 3
3 and a half hours.
3.5.
Which is nuts.
Which, I mean, with that cast, I mean, I don't think I could probably go past 3.5 hours, to be completely honest. But I didn't really know what it was going to be about with that cast. I figured it had to be
Gangster
some
film.
type of gangster film, which, I mean, I feel like everybody feels good about to see them all again. But, yeah, I didn't really know a lot about it. But now, all these tweets, all these
Does it
reviews,
raise your excitement level?
Yeah, I mean, God, like the guy dropping the F-bomb. The one starting on his tweet with boy,
Jordan Hoffman.
period.
Right?
I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
But,
The
no,
man
I'm
knows
really excited.
how to speak if you say,
All right, well, guys, if you're one of the few people on the planet that doesn't have a Netflix subscription, you might want to go ahead and get one now because The Irishman drops really, really soon, just in a matter of weeks. I think it's like November. I probably should have written this down. Probably should have done my homework.
Right.
Find out exactly when it drops on Netflix. But it drops really, really soon.
Soon enough.
Get excited. Let us know in the comment section. Are you excited for The Irishman? Were you already excited? Do these tweets raise your excitement level at all? Let us know in the comments section. So, right now, this is the moment of the show I've been waiting for about a year now.
We all know what's happening right now.
Joker has finally dropped in theaters. I remember, it feels like yesterday we were sitting at Home Run Inn, Kyra,
Yes.
and we heard the news that Joaquin Phoenix was going to be cast as Joker in the new Joker movie. Very exciting. The excitement level for this movie, for myself, has been crazy, crazy high. Lately, there's been a lot of negative buzz.